Welcome to 15K Plus Random Movie Reviews, where we take random movies from Metacritic's 15K Plus movies to randomly watch whether we like it or not. Hello and welcome to episode 21 of 50K Plus Random Movie Reviews. This is Colin.
And this is Niall.
And this is our random recap episode, movies 12 to 20. And let's just get straight into it. Let's go all the way back to Saving Private Ryan.
It does feel like a long time since we actually reviewed this and watched this movie. So it's, thankfully, I've seen it 55 times. So it's not going to be an issue.
Yeah, I totally forgot to write down things I didn't say, you know. And
I know plenty. But, you know, what can be said about this movie that hasn't been said 1,000 times? It's a fantastic, rollicking blockbuster of a movie. The opening scene on the beach is just... It was groundbreaking at the time.
Yeah.
Like, that scene by itself warrants some bad acting by Mr. Damon. You know, it balances that out, especially that scene where he's discussing his brothers in the barn that you so detest.
Hated. Probably one of my worst scenes of a movie of all time.
Yeah, and it does feel kind of forced a bit, but that doesn't detract from the movie all that much, because it is, like, Tom Hanks is bloody brilliant in it.
Yeah. Like,
most of the guys are brilliant, apart from your friend Matt.
Yeah, he's just, I think Spielberg made one mistake, and that was leaving in the ad-lib story that he told. I think it just came across too smarmy.
Unfortunately, Spielberg actually enjoyed that scene for some reason.
He did. I think, he wanted, I don't know, I can't remember now, it was longer. I think he cut it as well.
Christ.
Yeah. So I think when you look back, and I'm just thinking of Saving Private Ryan, and the first thing I think of is, the 45-minute, visceral, loud, violent landing on D-Day, and
decapitations, holes in people, arms off, everything.
And I think one of the nicest things about going back to it was realizing who's in the movie that you forget that's in the movie. Like, I forgot Bryan Cranston was in the movie.
Vin Diesel, baby, and he's not a tree this time, or driving a car.
Vin Diesel, yeah, and then Ted Danson as well.
Oh yeah. The guy from Sideways, I always forget his name. Paul Giamatti, yeah. Like the cast is huge when you think about it.
Yeah, and then your friend from Firefly, what's his name again? Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion's in it, yeah.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of it. I don't know if I mentioned this the first time we watched it, but when I first watched Saving Private Ryan, I did not realize that the guy that they let go at the when they're rushing the sort of first mission base thing, they was digging his grave. No, Choo Choo. Yeah, Choo Choo.
Steamboat
Willie. I didn't know. I didn't think he was the guy in the tower at the end that has that horrible death scene
with the knife. Again, one of the most memorable bits of the movie. It's very. I got my wife to translate some of it because I'd never understood what he was saying because it's not subtitled. But it's kind of dark because he's saying, "This knife is for you. Don't worry about it. It'll be easy." Oh, okay. I don't. Maybe I shouldn't have got it translated.
Leave it the way it is.
Yeah. Well, sorry, you were saying, yeah. I'm not sure. I still don't know if that was the same guy. Was it?
Well, I believe it is because he shoots him in the head at the end. Our fearless translator.
Well, I don't know if that's because he let him go or because he didn't stop him killing his friend. Because he had ample opportunity and all the ammunition in the world to stop him. He just pooped his pants.
Yeah. No, I definitely think I think it was the same guy, because why else would he walk past him on the staircase?
Yeah.
He should have just broken his neck too.
It would have been easier.
Yeah. When you think of war movies, do you think of anything else other than Saving Private Ryan?
Tropic Thunder. The pinnacle. And Platoon. Platoon. Willem Dafoe, fantastic. I love that movie. There's those two movies are probably I suppose those three movies are the pinnacle of war movies in my eyes. I think Platoon was fantastic as well, as was Full Metal Jacket. There's a few in there, actually, when I think about it.
That's what I would think of Full Metal Jacket. I think Kubrick makes it very, very eerie and scary.
My favorite scene of all of those movies is the end scene of that, where they're just walking away from a big, massive battle singing Mickey Mouse.
Right.
It's such a weird scene, but it's so effective.
And like that's exactly what happened. I've read a couple of books where soldiers retell their stories, and there's so much of that. There's so much of singing and just trying to remember the media from back home, just to make them feel somewhat connected to the goings on at home, because it's such an alien landscape to them. Like they're 18 years old, going from America, going from cities in Alabama or towns from Alabama into
wiping your friend's brains off your forehead. Like, nothing prepares you for that.
Yeah. Well, you'll still wish for Tropic Thunder to come up randomly, but
absolutely.
I wouldn't hold out any much hope for it. But we are thinking of whenever our birthday weeks are happening that we get to choose one movie.
How many birthdays are we allowed a year?
Well, you could change your name or something. I don't know. So anything else about Saving Private Ryan? I think obviously it belongs in the annals of history.
Oh, it is one of the best movies out there. It was 252, wasn't it, on Metacritic? I think that's roughly where it belongs. It's not the best movie in the world, but it by sure is not the worst movie out there by a long way.
Yeah, I think we've mentioned that the plot is pretty formulaic. I think it's the acting and the production of it makes it stand out.
The sound on it, like when the tanks are rolling in and the guy's there with the ammunition around his neck and stones are shaking and stuff like that, just brilliant.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Mr. T ammo around the neck.
The sound is just I think the sound elevates it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was a Metascore of 91. So I think people don't realize, like, the top 1,000 of Metacritic's top 1,000 movies goes to 85. So there's 1,000 movies that are deemed excellent, pretty much. So Saving Private Ryan might seem low to a lot of people, but it's not, because everything's just
there's a lot of good movies up there.
Yeah, but we're just not getting them.
No, we are not. We just get documentaries when it goes up above 100.
Yeah, documentaries or foreign movies. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, but sometimes I want things to explode,
Yeah, like give us the Terminator or something, some classic movie. But anyway, we were lucky with that. The next movie was movie 4617, A Man Called Ove, and I must admit that this has given us. We always we recall this movie quite a bit when we talk.
I find this, when I think about this movie, I find it quite. I think of it fondly, and I unfortunately probably associate too much with Ove himself.
Yeah.
When I see some kids doing some silly stuff, and I'm like, "Oh, idiot!" I'm like,
Idiot.
"Oh God, I'm turning into Ove." I like the movie. I like the story. It's quite it's a nice story. It's nothing complex, but it's well acted. It's very, for a movie that ends with him snuffing it. It's quite a hopeful movie.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a very well constructed movie. I think I'm not going to watch Tom Hanks' version, even though Tom obviously is good, but I don't want to. I'll keep it.
It didn't need to be remade. I think this was as good as it's going to get.
Well, tell that to all Hollywood producers.
I don't think Tom Hanks does a grumpy fella quite that well. He's always been a happy sort of chap in my eyes. So his face won't lend to the grumpy old man scenario.
He does pull a grumpy face on the movie poster if you look at it, though.
Yeah, but it's still Woody from Toy Story.
Captain Phillips.
Yeah.
What else? Yeah, like, 4 zeros on the grill, one behind the wheel.
Classic line, yeah.
And you obviously went and visited the film set a few weeks ago, right?
Well, the country anyway. I was in a couple of museums. I was looking at old Saabs and old Volvos. Obviously, I spat on the Volvos and caressed the Saabs.
You should have researched where it was filmed and just went to visit it and said to your family, well, I'll see you in a day.
I've got to look at a housing estate.
Yeah. I gotta walk around in a state and make sure the gates are locked and just act like I belong there.
Give out to people for, driving the bicycle down the wrong way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was a sweet movie, and I'm glad it popped up.
Yeah. Again, a movie would definitely not have been something I would have considered watching. Straight away, it's in Swedish, so I don't speak Swedish other than 3 or 4 words.
Saab,
Volvo,
Idiota.
Yeah, listen, it was a very good movie, and I have nothing but good things to say about it.
That's very nice.
Oh, and the best suicide scenes ever. Or attempted suicide scenes ever.
Yeah, again, just remembering that, his first, when he was trying to hang himself, very much reflective of Brooks's in Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
I think they took a bit of a artistic angle from Shawshank for that, but I will allow it.
Oh, absolutely.
And also, we have to give them props because whatever, the budget was $4 million, which probably pays for their electricity for the couple of weeks. So doing that bus crash, the way they did it, was an excellent portrayal of a bus crash.
It was amazingly done for the budget they have. So they must have paid their staff, the actors, like €12 each, or 12 Corona.
Yeah, no, I think they did very well with that crash. And as we said back in the time, if Ben Affleck does a dodgy car crash,
with the amount of money that movie cost, yeah.
A Man Called Ove embarrassingly did it much, much better. Much
with
better.
A bus, not even a stinking little car.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. All right, moving on to movie 40. This was 14,948, and quite a nice surprise was this was actually not that bad. It was Gentlemen Broncos.
It really doesn't deserve its position. This is, in my opinion, we got 3 good movies in a row. Now, this is by the same chaps who brought us Napoleon Dynamite, which was brilliant. This is goodish. Some elements of it were kind of annoying, but one of my favorite actors in it, Sam Rockwell, and him bouncing around on a wire going wee is one of the happiest moments of my life.
Little amuses you.
It little does.
I think, as I think I said in the episode, I watched Nacho Libre before this, and I think this is better than Nacho Libre.
This is better than Nacho Libre, and I kind of like Nacho Libre as well. But this is a bit more out there. It's a bit weirder. Yeah,
and there's a lot more weirder characters in this. I think the problem with Nacho Libre was there's not a lot of.
It's just the guys, really.
Yeah, like the nurse isn't memorable. She should be weirder. Everybody in this movie is weird, and everybody in Napoleon Dynamite is weird.
And that works. It's like a parallel universe where everybody's a bit weird. And Nacho Libre has 2 people from that universe in our universe, which kind of doesn't work. Like, I think Jack Black's great in it, and his friend who I cannot remember the name of now. But it doesn't fit as well as this did.
It was Hector Jimenez, wasn't it? The same guy from this.
Yeah.
He plays Lonnie in this one.
Yes, with the mouse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he really, really
he turns that right up to 11. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he definitely spinal taps this one for sure. There's a lot of. I think the movie within a movie aspects adds a lot of depth to this, the yeast lords and
yeah, it's just supremely weird, and it works. And what I love about it is there's almost like 3 different adaptations of the one story inside the story.
Yeah,
which is just so, it's kind of jarring but brilliant at the same time.
Yeah, I think it works.
And I love Jermaine Clements in it as the asshole author.
Yeah, moon feeders. You just
stick anus at the name of the name and then
yeah, there's quite a few moments that stand out, and they're actually, I think we like surreal humor. I think that
very much so.
Yeah, so I think maybe that's why. Well, the Metascore for the movie is 28, so critics didn't get it, but user score is 5.8. So you can see there that there's a disconnect, and 5.8. I think there's a lot of people that do actually appreciate it.
I think it's quite Marmite, this movie. My wife watched it at the same time as me, and she absolutely adored this movie.
Oh, really?
She hated Napoleon Dynamite, which is weird.
That is weird.
Yeah, but she really got this. I think she's a big fan of Sam Rockwell as well. Maybe that's it.
Okay, well, that's probably it. He does. What is he? He does actually. What is it? He's half naked at some point, anyway, isn't he? What's he doing at the start of the first scene?
He's having his gonads extracted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weird scene. And then his lynx jumps through the window and rips a guy's throat out. Fantastic.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff like that. So yeah, good movie. Like 14,000 on the list, crazy. But hopefully
It's not just 14,000. It's 14,948. That's basically 15,000. It's right at the bottom, and I think that is a absolute disgrace, Mr. Metacritic.
Why don't you send a stiffly worded email to all the critics? Because it's Mr. Meta.
I'll visit them all.
Yes, on a tour around the world. I wonder. I'd like to see the Hess duo. I'd like to see what they're up to next and see what comes out.
Yeah, and I think they've done something recently. I do remember there was another movie on the list, and I completely forgot to research it further from that point on. I must look it up again.
Yeah, that's fine.
They don't produce a lot, but when they do, it usually is quite weird and interesting.
All right, move on to movie number 15. Episode number 15. Movie was 548. Metascore of 87. User score of 6.8. It was a documentary called Rewind from 2020.
Yeah, this is a tough watch.
Now, let me say something here. And one of our audience listeners was upset we didn't grade this movie. And I kind of agreed with him at the end of the day, actually, to be honest with you. So we will.
Well, the only thing we didn't grade, I thought, was it the acting, or was it the plot?
No, because
the story.
So with documentaries, we change plot to topic, we change acting to people, and we change the rest of the same soundtrack and production. So we didn't rate any of them. So I believe now is the time where we can actually, because it's been a while since we did it. So I think we can give a mark to each of those things now. So like the topic is quite hard hitting, and I think it's a worthwhile endeavor by Sasha.
Yep, absolutely.
But I think the topic
and it could not have been easy for him and his story to produce it. Yeah, and then to speak so candidly about the subject.
Yeah, one thing though you mentioned near the end of the episode kind of distracted me. You said like he was an actor or an extra in a couple of movies in his teenage years.
He was. I think was it? It could have been. No, it wasn't Natural Libre, was it? It was something like that. It was a Jack. It was in something.
Oh yeah, no, I remember. It was the one with blonde actress who is overweight. Shallow Hal.
Shallow Hal, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like I was wondering, like, okay, he's going through a very, harrowing experience, and he's showing up in these movies at some point during it as well. I don't know the timeline there. So it's a bit strange for me.
I think the movie, Shallow Hal was before all this came came out, really. Well, I'm guessing. I didn't really plot the timeline. But I think at that time, like his dad's obviously involved with film production. Like he works for a film studio that does PBS stuff or something. I can't remember exactly. So he has some awards and all that jazz. So he must have got in contact with certain people and pushed his son forward for roles. He hasn't done anything since then, really. The son, he's more of a film producer himself now.
Yeah. So I think the most hard-hitting part of this documentary is finding out that it's their cousin first, and then it's slowly, quite quickly revealed. Then it's Uncle Larry, and then it's Uncle, what's his name?
The singer. Yeah. Oh,
Uncle Howard. Howard.
Lovely guy, Howard.
Oh, amazing! Like, still alive, still not giving a crap that what he did, and the Jewish temple or whatever, not giving a crap what he did as well.
Yeah,
people still making documentaries about him on YouTube.
He never served time. He didn't. He pled guilty and did no time at all.
No, he got a tour of the jail and basically said, "Yeah, this is where you could go.
Don't be touching boys again." After what he did, not just to Sasha, but to basically everybody.
Everybody he met, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
There's only just goes to show, like, justice only serves people who haven't got any money. It only serves the rich. People who haven't got any money, you ain't getting justice.
That's true. That's very true. I think the topic I'm going to give 3.5 out of 5 because I think it is important to showcase that these things happen to normal looking families from the outside, and then near the end of the movie you get that lesson that for people who are protected by religious organizations are very highly protected with money and politicians, and I think it's a known secret.
Yeah, well, I think we all know the powerful are hard to bring to justice, but if you don't pay your TV license, they'll put you in jail. Yeah,
or if you jaywalk or something, they'll slip the handcuffs on you. So thinking about it now, what would you give the topic?
I would agree with you. 3.5. Listen, a tough watch. Not something I would have chosen at all.
No.
It's painful to watch. It's, as you say, an important subject. But I generally steer clear of stuff that makes me feel like crap. And this did. It's such because nobody win. They don't win.
No.
There's no winning in this. Now there is some resolution when he gets Howard in court and confronts him, but then he just walks anyway, and it's just really annoying.
It's a shame it wasn't. A shame it wasn't recorded, the court case, but of course,
it's minor. You can't really do that.
Yeah, but or at least showing the defendant or the accused or whatever.
Yeah.
I think so. The second category we have for documentaries is people and the people involved. So obviously, we're not giving points here for the likability of most of these characters, the people in this.
They are not likable. Yeah.
No, but I think it's the power that the people give to the topic to drive the documentary. And I think every character in this is very powerful in playing a part in this story, in this documentary.
And the production feeds into this in that they had a lot of source material, obviously, because the father recorded absolutely everything. But some of those videos of the uncles and Sasha, looking at it now, knowing what we know, what happened, is devastatingly horrible.
Yeah, for sure.
Like sinister, evil crap, like really, really dark.
Yeah, and I think that's the power of the way he told the story. And I know when we talked about this, I said maybe perhaps the reveal happens quite quickly in the middle of the movie. Perhaps it felt a little disjointed at that point, and maybe it could have been told in a different timeline. But I think it works the way it is. I'm giving the people category 3 out of 5 because I think the people involved are. I don't know what word to make this, but they're sort of quite magnetic, I think, to be honest, for want of a better word.
Yeah, I think the people involved are a combination of powerful individuals with a really strong, charismatic personality, and then a collection of, well, I'm talking about Howard here, and then a collection of broken people in his wake.
Yeah.
And you kind of see it in the videos afterwards when you think about it again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah. So would you give it around 3 as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd like to give it any more because the people I'm rating are obnoxiously horrible. So I'd leave it at that.
Yeah. Soundtrack wasn't really much. I can't even remember. I'm just going to give it 1.5 out of 5. I think there was a lot of documentary background stuff, and that was
not really a part of it, really.
No.
Other than Howard singing, which I don't want to give any points to.
Yeah, I could give it minus for him singing.
Yeah.
So 1.5 probably same for you. Yeah, or 1 or yeah. Production, I'm going to give 3 out of 5. I think the switch between the current day and the interviews, it worked for the
works very well.
Works
very well.
Would you agree with 3?
Yep. Well,
I hope our Australian listener who complained to me is happy that we just graded this movie. Now on to our favorite movie of this decade of movies we've watched. It was episode 16. It was movie 13,369. The Sisters.
Great movie. What is it? Crystal Meth. Speed.
At least it gave us that.
Yeah, that's about all. And the out the window scene.
Out the window scene is amazing. And the reactions to it. I actually grabbed that, but I didn't do anything with that reaction scene yet.
I love Rip Torn in it.
Rip Torn, who doesn't know what accent he's doing for the entire movie.
It keeps changing it. Why not? Keep it interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so so it had a meta score of 40, but the user score was 5.5. So the user score is more than the critics, and I don't know why people would find this even average.
There's no redeemable. It's not even crap enough to be interesting. It's
right, like Stick.
Yeah,
we love Stick.
The production was so shit that it was brilliant, and some of the lines, like what was it? Looks like they ran out of chickens. It's that's
great.
Gold. None of that in this thing, apart from maybe the Crystal Meth Speed thing, but no, this is awful acting. Like rubbish acting from actors who should be better. Let's be honest. There's no script. There's no production. The director needs to give up.
I think he did.
Good.
He's the guy who introduced Arnold to the world. So I got to give him a little round of applause.
I've watched that movie.
Hercules in New York.
It's pure and utter crap. It's like if you give me a camcorder and Arnie, I would have done something similar, and I'm rubbish.
Did you watch the overdubbed version?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Not with Arnie's voice. That ruins it. I will crush him. I will crush him. Yes, that's not Arnie.
Well, I will give this movie something positive because...
Oh, damn you.
No, because it made me read an Anton Chekhov play.
Okay, so you got a little bit cultured out of it, but not because of the actual movie, but because of its source material.
Because of the source material. And, I feel smarter now for reading an Anton Chekhov play.
Well, I prefer Dostoevsky myself.
Yeah. That's a scene from the British Office, isn't it? Where
I think it was Father Ted.
No, really? I think it's in The Office too. I think I think that's two comedies now to mention. Dostoevsky. Yeah,
that guy from Russia.
Anyway, it's the episode in The Office where the new guy comes into the office and they have a table quiz night, and Mr. Brent is trying to act smart to this new guy.
Yes, I watched Dostoevsky's documentary.
Yeah. What else rubbish about this movie are we forgetting? Sister-in-law is my hero in it because she just rips them apart during it. She basically says what everybody else is saying and says, "You're all idiots."
Oh yeah, the one that they all look down upon, which is the only person that I actually like. Well, the person I liked the most, maybe not like, it's a straight strong word, but they're all horrible. The siblings, they're just awful people, and awful things should happen to them, and then it would have been good.
Yeah, they're not horrible in the play. I don't know how they transformed them into horrible people. They're just sort of self-centered in the play, but not totally horrible.
Yeah, they were very pretentious, very judgmental of people who they did not consider to be intellectuals in the movie. And that's all I got out of them. Other than that, they're horrible.
Yeah, I think Mary Stuart Masterson's character, Olga, was the worst. She was just so obnoxious with just pontificating at stupid moments, like in the grocery aisle.
Jesus. Why?
But it must be said that Eric McCormick's rush into the room to push Chris O'Donnell out the window is amazing.
I've always wanted to do that with Chris O'Donnell.
In his Robin suit.
Yeah. See you fly now, you fecker.
You dressed as a Joker. So the sisters, don't watch it.
Yeah, really don't watch it. If you learn anything from us, don't watch this one movie. Possibly the worst. Is it the worst? It's worse than movie 43.
Yes, it is. Of course.
There was some tiny chinks of light got through the canopy of crappiness in movie 43. This, not so much.
I'll say something controversial, though.
Ooh.
It's not as bad as Me Time. Because we have got two memorable scenes from the sisters that give us joy. Nothing gives us joy.
It's shit, though, I guess. So maybe its shitness has elevated it somewhat.
Yeah. Up to the top of the toilet bowl.
Yeah. Me Time is just down there with the turds.
Yeah. That they actually shit out in the movie twice.
Yeah.
Episode 17 was 9,247 on the list. It was Concussion from 2013. This was another blah movie that came hot on the heels of the sisters, and we were on a bit of a bad roll.
Yeah, we were. And this isn't nearly as bad as the sisters.
No,
let's just give it that. No. But it's just a movie of. I don't particularly like the main character. She's not a nice person. She's selfish. And I don't particularly care about the story all that much.
No, it was bland. It was very, very
forgettable, to be honest.
Yeah, like nothing. Like it's like, I think I said it in the episode, it's like just reading somebody's boring diary of them doing stuff.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's what they were going for, because it was kind of trying to portray the drudgery of ordinary life in your 40s and why you might have a midlife crisis and become a hoe.
Well, it's happened to me.
It happens to us all when you hit 40.
Yeah, it's working tricks on the street.
So my John's due in about 20 minutes. We better wrap this up.
Coming in with his cane and leopard print coat. Actually,
that's my other podcast.
Oh yeah. That's 15K plus random tricks. I'll give this one final thought. I think if at the start of the movie when it starts quite innovatively and quite fresh. She's got blood all over her nose. She turns around to her son in the car, you little shit, and like it actually starts off like a Tarantino movie in that sense, because it's a very blunt and jarring first scene, and then a mother tells their son he's a little shit, and it should continue on with that, but it doesn't.
Oh my god, it does not. It just goes, it crams on the brakes as hard as it possibly can and just stops.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then the movie ends.
Yeah, there's
an hour later or so.
Yeah, it's just a really flat line of nothingness. And it tries to be something by her turning tricks, but even those scenes with her customers just aren't that interesting. They try to make it interesting, but with hooking up with young students or whatever, but that's not interesting. It doesn't even come across as interesting.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. And yeah.
Don't worry, you don't have to think about it anymore. It's fine. It's fine.
Thank you.
Let's move on to episode 18, which was 1,397 on Metascore's list. It has 81 Metascore and 7.8 user score. It was Truman. And it was a pretty nice movie.
Yeah, a nice movie about somebody decided they want to be dead quicker than chemo will allow them to die. So a nice movie about death and a dog.
Yeah, well, but
and
that was
friendship and the inability of two men in their 40s to talk about their feelings.
Yeah, so we had one thing about, a woman turning tricks in her 40s, then we had death and cancer in men in their 40s. So
yeah.
The universe is trying to tell us something.
It's almost like, when you're in your 40s, that you should just give up on life in general.
It's too late for me. That's
we're screwed.
Late 30s, yeah. I think one of our biggest issues of this was the actual name of the movie. Truman doesn't play a part.
Nope. He plays some part, but it's almost an afterthought. Like, he could have been used to great effect, and he was not.
No.
Because if you want to make somebody cry, you use a dog.
Yeah, and you use it quite a lot more than you do in this movie.
Yep.
I think, like the main actor, Javier Camara. Yeah, that was him, right? Yeah. No,
Yep.
No, it's Ricardo Darwin played Julian.
Yes.
He's got a good face for the guy battling cancer and showing emotion. And I don't think it was utilized enough.
Unfortunately, I think the story blocked him from doing so, in that his character was supposed to be tackling it with gusto for the most part, which I think maybe blocked him from using whatever facial range he has available to him.
Yeah, I'm sure he has facial range. Yeah, so I think it's it's a fine movie to watch about imminent death, but I think it could have been better. I think I left wanting more, and the ending was not as emotionally hitting as I thought it would be at the airport. To be honest,
here's the dog. Feck off.
Yeah, here's the dog. Here's the papers. I know you've got 2 young kids at home, but take this big, bull mastiff dog with you, and make sure he doesn't eat your kids.
Eats your children.
Yeah. This obviously was the movie where I hated the footstep sound effects. So if you want to listen to this movie or watch it, look out for the footsteps because they annoyed me.
It's also the movie where I confused the Rembrandt with it. Oh, I can't remember the other guy's name.
You thought it was Caravaggio.
Caravaggio. I just thought it was Caravaggio because there was a horrific scene of people sticking things in people.
Listen, as an art expert that I am, I respect your reasoning because you're absolutely right. It should be a Caravaggio, but he was more into biblical shit.
Yeah, but the biblical stuff seems to be a lot of sticking sharp things into people, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's what you base your ethical creed on. Yeah, it's just coincidentally enough, I was walking around the Marit house in The Hague last week, and I turned a corner, and there it was, striking me in the face was the anatomy lesson, the very same painting.
Was it the education of Dr. What was it?
Yeah, the anatomy lesson of Dr. something. It was too long for me.
Dr. Dre.
Chicago. Yeah. Great painting. It's quite a big painting, and if you're in The Hague, I would recommend you go see it. It's a couple of rooms away from the girl with the pearl earring.
I'm being tried for war crimes. I might drop in.
Yeah, that's your court date due next week, right? So you'll be there. Yeah. Well, let's get to this movie. It was episode 19, 15,176 on Metacritic's movie list.
Your favorite movie.
It was me time.
Kevin Hart is an absolute genius of an actor. And what can you say? His co-star is just his range. It's amazing.
Do you know what I thought about when we finished? Mark Wahlberg starring in that terrible M. Night Shyamalan movie.
What's I might not have seen this. What's this?
People falling from the sky, and it's the wind is the problem.
What? I haven't seen this.
Is it Mark Wahlberg?
The wind
is the problem. Is the enemy
farting people from the sky?
It's full of toxic stuff or something. It's nature. It's nature fighting against humanity, basically, and the wind is the thing, and it makes people go crazy. But Mark Wahlberg,
I haven't seen this. I don't think I particularly want to because Mark Wahlberg's in it.
Well, if I'm wrong, somebody will probably tell me, but I believe it is Mark Wahlberg, and I believe it's not Signs. It's that's about
Signs is pretty decent, actually. I enjoyed that.
Just talk a bit there to the audience, and I'll find out what the name of that movie is.
Well,
what about Me Time?
Me Time isn't Signs, and it's not an M. Night Shyamalan movie. Yeah, there's very little in the way of redemption in this one as well. Again, I think it had a pretty large budget. You said 80 million, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, 80 mil.
And starting straight off the bat, production is pathetic. Like as you rightly pointed out, the big green scene where the lads are wearing squirrel suits jumping off a cliff. It all looks just incredibly fake, like a really crap computer game from 20 years ago. It's just poorly animated. It doesn't work. And then the characters in it are like I suppose there's supposed to be some sort of arc with redemption for Huck in it, but it doesn't land. It's poor.
Yeah. The M. Night movie is called The Happening from 2008.
I do remember that happening.
And it is Mark Wahlberg because he is front and center on the movie poster, and his name is above the title.
Wow.
And he basically acts with a confused look on his face. And
it's just his face.
Yeah, he just has a constant confusion face. I think I watched this with my wife, and she was going, "What the hell is this movie?" And I was like,
"This garbage?
What is this?" Yeah. So, listen. I don't rate Kevin Hart at all, and I don't think he's funny at all. Anytime I've watched him, he just he goes for Jumanji. He was on a lot of talk shows with The Rock.
Yeah,
and all he does is fake being insulted by The Rock, and just looking quizzically at him, and that's his stick, and that's funny.
Yeah. I'm insulted by The Rock.
And there's also
to say The Rock is a much better actor.
Oh yeah. And there's also
I don't rate The Rock, but he's way better than this chap.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's also a skit with Conan O'Brien and Kevin Hart, and I think Ice Cube, maybe, where they all just get into this car for Conan O'Brien's show, with this learner driver or something. And Conan O'Brien is funny, is the best when he's talking to normal people, but Chris Rock isn't. He's just the same shtick. He just does the same stuff.
A lot of slapstick, isn't he? It's the as you said, incredulous look on his face and falling over a lot.
Yeah, slipping on tortoise. And I had when I listened back to our episode, I don't know how to pronounce tortoise.
Tortoise?
Is it tortoise or tortoise?
Yes, it's definitely one of those two.
I will just say turtle from now on. And
Teenage Mutant Ninja.
That's a new movie that's coming out. New animated movie.
It looks pretty decent. I can't remember. Somebody's producing it. It's a famous head on him.
M. Night Shyamalan?
No. Actually, you probably won't like him. I think it's Seth Rogen or Seth. Not Seth Rogen. Seth.
MacFarlane.
It's not MacFarlane, unfortunately.
It's Seth Rogen, I think. I think he's doing one of the voices too, right?
It could be. So I don't know how I feel about it. Because obviously,
I think
I'll definitely watch it. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was part of my childhood, so it better land. It better be good.
You never know, but I think it's getting good reviews already for whatever. I don't know if you even know if it's out. Anyway, Me Time sucks.
Yeah, that's why I'm talking about other shit.
Yeah,
because there's nothing good in this. Like the story's crap. The secondary characters are all rubbish. Seal, for shame, Seal, for shame. Absolute rubbish.
Seal needs a good clubbing after that.
He does. Oh, dear God.
There's a joke. That's the punchline, but I can't remember the actual joke setup. That leads us up to the last movie of this sort of second era of this podcast, episode 20, which was going to be Past Lives, a Korean-American drama. And we didn't realize when we picked it out that it's actually just not out yet. And it's going to be out soon, so we'll get back to it anon.
We promise we're not cheating.
No.
Because we definitely didn't cheat.
No, and we definitely didn't, we didn't cheat because we didn't get a really, we didn't get a great movie that we wanted to watch.
If it had been Tropic Thunder, then we cheated. Whenever you see us landing Tropic Thunder, and it will happen, we've cheated.
Yeah, unless we go all the way to your birthday in June, I think, and then you pick a movie, and it's going to be Tropic Thunder.
Probably Airplane, to be honest, but
Oh, really? I'm just going to be
tough call.
I'm just going to be an asshole when my birthday comes around and pick me time. You have to review it again.
I just cut and paste the previous review. There you go.
I'm just talking to a recording of you. Yeah. Anyway, we'll review Past Lives soon. Don't worry, everybody, about that. Yeah, I'm sure you're all really crying and stuff. Anyway, I recorded myself randomly picking a number to share with Niall on WhatsApp, just so he knew I wasn't acting a maggot. And it came out weird.
I can say that he didn't cheat, or unless he kept clicking it until he decided he had the number he wanted and then give it to me. So I don't know.
No, I didn't have enough energy or time to do that, and I really couldn't be cared. I really, actually, I do worship the god of randomness, to be honest with you. I think it's a bit scary right now that I am worshiping randomness. It's just weird that the movie that we first picked was 120 on the list, and then the movie that we had to pick again was 70. It's just so weird that we could,
Yeah, quite random numbers.
Yeah. So when I picked this and it said Small Axe, Lovers Rock, I was like, what the hell is this?
No, it's not colon. It's spelled C-O-L.
No.
Because that'd be weird. You don't want to stick a small axe near your colon.
Small axe colon.
2 dots, one above the other. Not up the jacksie.
No. That's what you get in the back alley when you
It's after Lovers Rock's been playing all day, then you get the
Anyway, so it has that grammatical punctuation in it because it's a series. It's from a series of 5 episodes from BBC.
I think they're all directed by Steve McQueen.
I don't know, actually, are they?
I think so. I seem to remember.
I know the guy that plays Finn in Star Wars is in one of the episodes.
Yeah. What's his name? Bodega or whatever.
Bodega? Oh yeah. Bodega, I think. I pushed those new Star Wars movies out of my mind.
I didn't hate them as much as you did. They're just not great. They're nothing compared to the originals.
Like Force Awakens was fine, but the next 2 are just absolute garbage. Anyway, sorry. Yeah. So this is weird to get into, and obviously it's a culture that we're not familiar with. Lovers Rock is a type of reggae music that has more emotional stuff to it, and you hear a lot of it during the movie. And it's a movie that doesn't rely on plot, really. It has a plot, but it doesn't. It's not the thing that drives it. It's all about the music. It's all about the choreography, that, for want of a better word, of the dancing and the the shared excitement and love of Lovers Rock music. And there's a lot of nice song scenes, and there's a lot of synchronicity between all the dancers, and it's textured and it's layered and it's fine.
Yeah, I just had to look through the other episodes. If you want to call them that.
I heard you clicking away there.
But Mr. McQueen did direct a lot of them, and they all have similar. Well, not similar, but they're black culture in London or those areas in the 70s and 80s and 90s. Some of the stories are about obviously racial hatred at the time, and some of them were just about growing up.
Yeah.
There was a bit of a selection there.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe we should have watched them all, but we don't have a lot of time in our week to do that.
Not to watch 5 hours of movie.
No. You're lucky enough to get us for one movie a week.
Yeah.
So we're making it work, and we're going well. What else about this? I like the kung fu fighting scene. I thought that was probably the highlight for me.
Yeah, it put a smile on my face, which is always, it's such a fun song. But is it
cultural appropriation?
What, to find a song funny and good?
To do kung fu fighting dance moves to a song?
I don't think so. Because I like it, I'm going to say no.
Is it like doing Rock the Boat at a wedding?
Never do Rock the Boat at a wedding.
You did. I've got photo evidence.
Damn you.
Yes.
Yeah. That's you have to be nicely not sober for that. Yeah, you got to be properly lubricated.
Yeah.
Then all bets are off.
My bloody limbs would have to be lubricated to do it now.
No, that's not like it's the most taxing of physical activities, but yeah, I feel the same way.
You're rocking the boat.
Is difficult.
Yeah, rowing is difficult. Rowing through the soup of drunkenness. What else about Lovers Rock? I'm glad I learned a lot about a movement.
Yeah, as we said during the thing, it was very interesting, but no plot really. It's a snapshot of a culture, of a time, of an experience, and the texture of it is very vivid, and it's it's like something like going through a memory from your own past, just from a different perspective, from a different cultural perspective. Because as we talked about, like it reminds us of our childhood when we were going through nightclubs and house parties and stuff like that, and it's the same sort of vibe.
Yeah, I remember jumping up and down to the crescendo of Jeremy by Pearl Jam in one of those discos we used to go to. Yeah,
that actually sticks out in my mind quite substantially. And I remember a bunch of lads I knew from school and from the friends of friends all jumping around to it at the same time. I do remember some Radiohead and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's different musical vibe, but the same effect.
Yeah, the same sort of, camaraderie and companionship you find in fellow human beings to music. But I imagine there's probably a little bit more layers to this in the 70s, obviously, with this the black community there. Probably they have to slalom their way through life in London in that decade.
Yeah, and let's be honest, they had more challenges than we had growing up. We weren't oppressed, effectively.
No, but probably depressed.
Oh, that's part of being a teenager.
Listening to Slayer.
Radiohead. Oh, God, everything is depressing.
I'm a creep. I'm a loser. I wonder how...
Different songs at the time.
Yeah. One thing we didn't mention in this episode, or one thing I didn't ask you, did you have issues with understanding the words, the lingo?
I had to focus goddamn hard.
Yeah.
So I found it difficult at times. Yes, I got the gist. I may have missed a few words here and there, but it was difficult. And I do have to admit, for a couple of lines, I think it was from Franklin, that I put the subtitles on and rewinded it 10 seconds.
Good for you.
Yeah,
I think I now understand why people have to put subtitles on for like West of Ireland movies, like Wind That Shakes the Barley and stuff like that.
I need that from people from Cork,
Yeah, that's the way it goes. That's all our movies from episode 12 to 20. What a journey we've been on for our second batch.
Yeah, it's been a mixed bag. Some good, some terrible, some super depressing, and some happy.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of death.
Yeah, like a little reminder, or somebody's tapping on us on our shoulder. But
it's not long till you're dead now, lads.
No, it's the lad with the scythe behind us. Well, here's the deal. We're going to roll for starting off our next era of 15K plus random movie reviews, and I'm going to roll it right now and see what comes up and what the universe pulls us towards. And we're getting movie 1580, so it may not be that bad.
1580 documentary.
Yeah. Foreign movie documentary.
It's a documentary in Welsh.
Could say something there about what documentary it is, but all right. Movie number 1580 on Metacritic's all-time movie list has a Metascore of 81. It's called Husera, the grammatical mark. Husera, the Bone Woman.
See, colon would work there.
All right. Here you go. It's Spanish.
There we go.
Spanish or documentary. So it's a drama horror. Usually the foreign movies are pretty good with horror. I don't like horror movies, but be fine. All right, here's a synopsis. Valerie's joy at becoming pregnant with her first child is quickly taken away when she's cursed by a sinister entity. As danger closes in and relationships with her family become fractured, she's forced deeper into a chilling world of dark magic that threatens to consume her. A group of witches emerge that could be our only hope for safety and salvation, but not without grave risk. It's from February 2023, so let's hope this is available to us. So we will get back to you in our next episode if it's not the right one, if it's not available for us yet, and that's probably something that we didn't predict when we were doing this. So hopefully it's available for us somewhere online, and we will like it. Do you like horror movies?
Not particularly. If not available online, I say Tropic Thunder.
Tropic : Thunder.
It works. It works everywhere.
Yeah. All right. We can only just investigate after we close this episode. So that was very good to go back over our highs and lows of the last 8, I think, movies, and we'll do the same in episode 31 after we go through the next decade or so of movies. So we will see you in episode 22. Bye-bye.
Ciao.